Hey, everybody, welcome to the Big Weekend on Sports New York Mets Week in Review for the week of April 21st, 2019. Happy Easter to everyone who watches this video as I'm recording on Sunday night, the 21st. Tough week for the good guys. Took a couple on the chin, 2-4 out of 6. They come home to the Phillies starting tomorrow night, and it wasn't a great week. It started out great. After the rough series in Atlanta where they dropped 2 of 3, the Mets went into Philly on Jackie Robinson night, which is always a great night for the game, and won an extra inning 7-6, highlighted by a couple of things. The biggest, and I think the scariest, is that Jeurys Familia still cannot get out of his own way. I don't know what's going on with him. Even before he was traded last year, he was very good. He wasn't a pitcher that was a liability for this team. This year so far, he's been a liability. The Mets take the lead late on a botched first play at first base by Rhys Hoskins, in which Juan Lagares just didn't stop running. So big up to Juan for that. Big Mets defensive play of the night was a double play started in the 8th inning by Jeff McNeil, and what a play it was. Do or die picking out a short hop to get it to Cano, who had a slow runner going down the line. He was able to get it to Dom Smith, who came in for defense earlier in the game, to complete the double play, and the Mets end up getting out of it even though the Phillies tied it. Edwin Diaz then came in the 10th inning and blew not only the Phillies away, but blew my mind, especially hearing later on in the week he's had a bone spur in the elbow issue, which apparently the Mets knew when they made the deal. Now listen, guys can pitch through injuries. Seth Lugo has pitched through a partially torn UCL for the last couple of years, as had Masahiro Tanaka from the Yankees. They don't believe this is going to be something detrimental to Diaz's season, but it's not good to hear. That being said, Diaz came in the bottom half of the, I believe it was the 10th or 11th, and just blew these dudes away. Bryce Harper didn't stay. He went through the heart of the lineup. Harper, Hoskins, and Real Muto just went down, strikeouts all three. So they get the big win to start the week in Philly. And on Tuesday night, for lack of a better term, the Mets got hood stomped. Steven Matz didn't get out of the first inning. The Phillies scored 10 runs in the first inning against the Mets, the first time that has happened since 1988 against the Cincinnati Reds. Now, I mentioned that when it happened, because that was the year the Mets won 100 games in a division title. And had it not been for Orel Hershiser, most likely would have gone to and won a second title in 3 years. That Oakland team, I don't think, could have beaten that Mets team. But they were hood stomped. I mean, they were just beaten. Which brings us to Wednesday, the getaway day, 1 o'clock start. Zach Wheeler went for that. Zach Wheeler was very good. Gave up 3 runs, which nowadays that's a quality start. He pitched well into the game. He kept his pitch count down. He threw strikes, which was big. The Mets rallied late. Conforto hit another one during this series. Nimmo hit one on Monday night. The Met offense has been there. It's the Met pitching, which comes as a huge surprise that this team is not being carried by its pitching right now. So the Mets left Philadelphia and went to St. Louis. Now, Friday night in St. Louis, we saw again what Pete Alonso brings to the table. An absolute laser beam of a home run to dead center field on a pitch low and away that he's just reaching out and getting and slapping up the middle. This kid's power is like something I haven't seen out of a Met farmhand since Darryl. I mean, he's just a straight power hitter. He's not going to hit for high average, I don't believe, but he is absolutely taking the cover off the baseball right now. The Mets got a big win Friday night, but the biggest thing about Friday night was not that they won, which was huge. Robinson Cano had 3 hits on Friday night. I believe if Cano can come out of this, the Mets will be far better off. 3 hits on Friday night. His swing looks like it's coming back around to where he's not trying to jump on the inside pitch so much. He's going with everything. He's hitting the ball the opposite way if he needs to. He happened to be able to pull a couple of balls on Friday night, which helped him greatly. They got a good pitching performance out of Lugo and Vargas, which the Vargas part shocked me a little. I caught a few minutes of the game. I was out with family on Friday night. Vargas was locating the changeup early. He did lose it a little bit. Lugo came in the early innings and pitched very well. The Met bullpen was good. On Friday night, Edwin Diaz kind of bent but didn't break a little bit. He got the big strikeout when he needed it. He got another great defensive play from Jeff McNeil at third base. Mets win 5-4 on Friday night, take the opener in St. Louis. And what seems like a pattern for this week is the Mets got stomped again on Saturday. Chris Flexen called up to start for Jacob deGrom, who's been put on the injured list and will be reactivated on the 26th of this month. We're going to get into that in just a minute. Chris Flexen was called up to pitch, did not pitch well at all. They got a home run early to give them the lead. After that, it was all St. Louis, and the Cardinals went big on Saturday. Today on Sunday, Noah Syndergaard went to give the Mets a series win, and unfortunately, Thor has not been good the beginning of this season. He pitched okay in D.C. He was pretty good against Minnesota. His last line showed he gave up 4 runs, but he pitched far better than the stat line gave him. But Thor wasn't Thor today. And then Thor hit a home run that looked a lot like the one Jose Canseco got bounced off his head years ago in Cleveland. Quick little piece of trivia. The gentleman who hit the home run that bounced off Canseco's head is the father of the Cardinals right fielder, Jose Martinez, who played first base last year, but who was in right field today when Dexter Fowler helped that ball get over the wall that Syndergaard hit. So the Mets lose again today. They drop 2 of 3 in St. Louis. They're dropping 2 of 3 in Philadelphia. Couple of things that have happened that I want to go over quick. One, Jacob deGrom's on the injured list. The old disabled list is now the injured list, for all you who don't know what I'm talking about. His elbow was barking. Now, a lot has been made by the fact that they said he was going for the MRI on Monday, and then he was playing catch. Jacob deGrom has had Tommy John surgery. It happened when he was in the minor league, so it really wasn't too well publicized. He knows what the elbow feels like. And I have to trust him here. Do I still have the MRI? Absolutely. He needs to have the MRI done. Just make sure it's all good in there. It may have just been tender after his last start. But trust him here. He's playing long toss in the outfield. He said he felt great. Could part of it be bravado because he did sign the big contract extension before the season started? Yes. But I believe him here. He didn't look pained when he was saying the things to the reporters that he was saying the other day at his locker. The other thing that happened today is Pete Alonso hit another bomb. And when I say the word bomb, Dexter Fowler took 3 steps and then just watched it. 444 feet on the line. But here's the cooler thing about it. It's not that he hit the home run, because Pete Alonso is a home run hitter, whether people want to call him that or not. The coolest part is Alonso got hit yesterday, and there was some, x-rays were done. He gave an interview at his locker after the x-rays were done. They were negative. Mickey Callaway was going to sit him today. Well, apparently, the dude who pitched for the Cardinals today played against Pete Alonso in college. Alonso called and texted Mickey Callaway incessantly. So finally, Callaway answers the phone. What's the problem? Skip, I want to play tomorrow. I played this guy in college, and I hate this guy. And he jacks a ball 444 feet off of this dude in his first at-bat. Pete, you're quickly becoming one of my favorites. So that was the end of the Mets 2-4 week for this week. Got Philadelphia for 3 at home starting tomorrow night. And then next week, the defending National League Central Division champion Milwaukee Brewers with Christian Yelich, who's hitting home runs every pitch he sees all of a sudden. Come in over the weekend. The Thor bobblehead giveaway is Saturday. The Thor sitting on the Iron Throne. So it's a big week here at Citi Field. The Mets have got to right the ship quickly. They need 2 of 3 here against Philadelphia. They get DeGrom back on Friday, hopefully. Get 2 of 3 against Milwaukee and head into the final week of April at 15 and 12 through 27. Oh, yeah, because they're 11 and 10 after today. They're still in it. The East is going to be a dogfight all season. This is not going to be decided. I don't believe what all the talking heads and pundits are saying. The Phillies are not going to run away and hide. Their pitching is not up to snuff. If the Mets pitch to the back of their baseball cards, the Mets are the better team, plain and simple. And oh yeah, they get Cespedes back, hopefully come June, healthy to finish out the season. So that's the end of this week. We can be found, Big Rican on Sports, the podcast on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public. SoundCloud will be updated again. I am actually not recording a podcast tonight because tomorrow night I'll be taking part in a mock NFL draft. I know I'm not the biggest NFL fan, but guys in the Rise Up podcast community put it out there. I will be doing the picks for the AFC East.